What's up, YouTube? Gjhayfuajdjsoxkckfjdhsgxhdjdj here, and I'm just sitting at home, watching Power Rangers. I'm a Power Rangers fan. Been a fan since I was a kid. But was on Dueling Network, and my last three games in a row, the first one, I'm not complaining about how I lost. I saw that video on Gjhayfuajdjsoxkckfjdhsgxhdjd's channel. I'll hope I can attach the video in the description. If I can't, I apologize. But it was up against an Exodia deck. What was really annoying was on how the guy was playing, he was playing duality correctly, which I'm, really happy for. I'll get to the duality thing in a second. That's a little bullshit. But, he's playing Exodia. So we get into the game, I go first, I'm starting to play Fire Fist. I'm actually working on a legit Fire Fist deck, other than out of the virtual world and whatnot. Basically, the actual deck. And I happened to get, I want to say I had a bear or a dragon, a Tenki, I believe it was, and a face down. And I end my turn, and he offers a draw, and I'm like, now I want to play. I didn't, wait the 10 minutes that it took to find a match just to offer a draw and not really. And, I explained that to him, and he's like, alright, no, that's fine, that's fine. He was just apologizing, he'd screwed up on his deck somewhere, and it's like, if he had a more legit reason other than, oh, I messed up, I don't have the opening, he was just really pushing more for he didn't have the good opening hand he wanted, or something like that he fit, if it were, let's say, for example, a Six Samurai deck, and he happened to forget, his, extra deck, and he's trying to offer me a draw. Being a Six Samurai player, it's I know how important that extra deck is, and it's no, that'd have been legit, if he had to go to, dinner or whatever, that'd been legit, I'd have accepted the draw, that's fine. But in his main deck, he had messed up on something, it's play with what you got. I've done it before. Actually won. So, he just annoyed the fuck out of me when, I didn't catch it at first, but he had played Reckless Greed. And I think he had, at the time, I think he had, 28 cards left in his deck, and I didn't notice it until 2 turns later, when he was all of a sudden down to 23 cards, and he hasn't really done anything. All he did was play defensively, and it's that's weird. And then he played Reckless Greed again, and then a second Reckless Greed near the end, and it's okay, so I messaged him about it, the little thing. So, just to let you know, Reckless Greed does not, you can't draw for 2 turns. Now, I know there, if you go Reckless Greed into Pot of Duality, and you use Pot of Duality, I know you can still draw cards like that, but for your draw phase, you can't draw cards. My point here is, read the card before you play it. Please. It was really annoying to watch him do that. And, he's just fucking going Reckless Greed. Oh, I'm gonna draw for my draw phase. It's what the I didn't get the chance to call admin because he fucking, by the time I could, he'd said Exodia, noob. And then he fucking booked. Almost identical thing happened, but the guy was playing Boojins, and it's Boojins I know are a little ridiculous, but it's he's trying to tell me what to do as I'm reading the card. It's can I read the card, please? And he's trying to say, no, it does this. This is how it works. And it's can I read the card? Please. And then when he did it again, and I went to ask him, it's okay, either you let me read the cards and ask if I have a response, or I'm going to call admin because you're not giving me a chance to figure out what this card does. Being someone that hasn't been in the metagame for months, you need to, I don't care who you are, you need to let me read. If we were in a legitimate tournament, I'd have called Judge, forever ago. And you would have been screwed. So he ended up just really pissing me off when he said, you obviously don't know how to play, you fucking noob. And he sat around long enough for me to tell him off about it, and then he booked. It's like, alright, if you're not going to defend your shit, then don't fucking... And then the other thing is, if you're going to play Pot of Duality, please, 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 please make sure you understand when you play Pot of Duality, you can only use one Pot of Duality per turn. If you're on like websites like Dueling Network, where, you know, I know on DevPro, you know, it's prefixed like that, so you can't really do it, kind of like the actual handheld video games. Unfortunately, I don't have a computer that can run DevPro, or run it decently. And I've been told to do this, that, and the next thing for it, and it's like, you know, it's just irritating, and I don't really have the time for it. But that's not my point here. My point here is when this kid had gone ahead and, you know, he played Pot of Duality the second time. He was playing a 50-card Exodia deck, and it's like, okay, I'm actually intrigued. This is a 50-card Exodia deck. You know, I actually want to try and play this out as long as I can to see how this works. You know, I'm intrigued. Being an original player, you know, from the day when 50-card decks were a thing. And he decided he's going to grab Swift Scarecrow, or whatever it is that, you know, you drop it from your hand to your graveyard, and the battle phase. It's like, okay. Well, after he had activated that Pot of Duality, he put that, when he grabbed that, and it's like, okay, that would have been the smart choice, but you can't. But he didn't have a way to prove that he put it back in his deck, rather than just keeping it and being like, oh, I'm gonna send this away. My point here, the question on that is, if you're on if you're on Dueling Network specifically, because I hear this a lot happening, do you guys think you should be asking, or that player should have the courtesy to show you the card they're sending back? Via going like, okay, I'm going to banish it, so that you can watch me send it back, rather than just showing it and then sending it back. And then the other thing is Fire Fist. People, I'm not a judge. I know plenty of judges, but I'm not a judge. I had the same question back when the last time I was in a tournament was like before Thanksgiving. Like this may have even been before Halloween. I was playing 6 Sam against Fire Fist. You know, I'm not really familiar with Samurai or Fire Fist at the time, so I had the same question. I thought you couldn't activate a card that was just set, period. And it's like, well, no. What about like when you misplay and you go to set something and you can still activate like a spell? And I was like, I thought that was only with Quick Play. And they're like, no. Quick Play, sometimes, depending on the card, you still have to wait. Where, with the Fire Fist, you're setting your continuous spell card. But I had summoned Tiger King. Or, no, I'm sorry, summoned Leopard. Used his effect, popped him, to search out for a Tenki, because I had Tensu out there, so I was gonna go use Tenki, search out Spirit, go into Spirit, right into Celestial Wolflord, Blue Sirius. And, you know, the kid got pissed, had called admin and everything. And I'm like, you can do this. You do know that, right? And he goes, no, you can't. You have to set it. Once it's set, you have to wait. And I'm like, no, those are traps. This is a spell card. Spell cards, when you set a spell card, especially like a normal, continuous, anything that's not a quick play, like I'm not 100% sure on the rulings on quick plays, but I know that a lot of the time when you set a quick play spell, you want to set it for obvious reasons. Well, with like a continuous spell card, like with the Fire Fist, their whole thing is, because you can set it, you can still activate it during like your main phase 2. Great example is Bear. You attack with Bear, your opponent goes Gores. Okay, well they still take the battle damage, you grab it like a Tenki or a Tensu or something. And then you activate it, you know, you get its effect. Like if you search out Tenki, you get its effect, unless you've already played a Tenki. But either way, you get its other effect, and then you can pop it with Bear's effect, destroying the Gores. The point is you can still activate it. I'm really getting annoyed by people, you know, going, oh, I'm going to call admin, or I'm going to call judge, and then 2 seconds later, just scoop. And that's what the kid did. He just ended up leaving the game, and it's like, really? You're not going to sit around for the time frame, you know, He's like, no, I'm gonna wait for the admin, because I'm right. It's like, okay, you cocky little bastard. Go ahead. Call your admin. Let the admin come through. Now, I'm not sure, because I haven't played on Dueling Network in over a year. But I'm pretty sure, when the admin does get a hold of you, like for me, because I didn't call the admin, they don't get a hold of me, they get a hold of him and ask him what's going on. And I'll bet you anything, it was the fact of, oh no, you can do this. And they let him know, and it's like, well, fuck, then I quit. It's like, if you're not going to have the balls to at least apologize and be like, no, I made a mistake and I'm sorry, then don't argue with it. Then don't be like, oh, I'm going to call admin, trying to force me to quit. Because I'm not going to quit, because I know I'm right. It's just, I really want people to understand on how this game is played. This is why, for the longest of time, I was almost dead set on quitting. And the only reason I'm going to continue playing is the Galaxy stuff coming out in Primal Origin, which doesn't come out for almost 2 more months. Or, in a month. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, so this is my rant video about assholes on Dueling Network. And my question for you guys, my major question is, with all this going on, do you guys recommend me, I want to say recommend me, but do you recommend going to DevPro instead of staying on Dueling Network? That's my question for you. So I'm Shadow Slayer Phoenix, and I'm gonna go bounce. I'm watching Power Rangers. Like, seriously, I'm watching Power Rangers. I'm gonna go watch Tommy kick some butt.